Here, you learn that to keep growing, you have to keep changing. CHS and the farmers and ranchers we serve know all about change, because together we've changed agriculture. That's why we're the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the country. So farmers own the system they count on, with advantages at every step. From innovative tools that help crops grow, to grain processing expertise, to energy solutions, we create connections to empower agriculture. Learn more at chsinc.com.
Upgrade your ride at Grossenberg Implement, your Polaris dealer in Beersford.
Harvest and hunting are on the horizon.
So rap with Ranger Rick about limited time rebates on remaining 2023 Polaris ATVs and side-by-sides.
Rick's also got used machines in stock.
Plus parts, accessories, and service.
Upgrade your ride, dude.
You upgrade your ride.
With a new Polaris from Grossenberg's in Beersford.
Go to GrossenbergPowersports.com, Facebook, or call 605-763-5020.
Frank, when you think Fairway, you think fresh. Is that the winning culture you've tried to create?
Penelope Pineapple, what an unbelievable produce performance. How does your team stay so fresh?
Sunkissed Orange. Is it true Fairway has offered the freshest produce in town since 1938?
What can we say? Our produce is so fresh, we're speechless.
Are you looking to buy or sell real estate in the greater Sioux Falls area? Look no further than the Julie Roth Real Estate Team. With over 10 years experience in homes, this team has you covered, from finding your dream home to designing and building your own. Julie Roth and her team put your needs first, whether it's your first home or fifth home. Experience hassle-free home buying and selling with the Julie Roth Real Estate Team. For information, visit julierothrealestate.com or call 605-740-0645.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
Experience the best of Watertown at Country Inn & Suites, the top-rated hotel in the region. Our friendly staff ensures a clean and comfortable stay, complemented by a delicious breakfast featuring waffles, eggs, sausage, cereal, and fruit. Guests can also enjoy a complimentary reception every Tuesday from 5 until 7, offering hot sandwiches, soup, and more. Conveniently located, we're your perfect stop for a great night's sleep and a pleasant stay. Country Inn & Suites is a proud sponsor of Watertown Arrows, Events, and Athletics. Book your stay with us today.
Grossenberg Implement just made it easier to find good used equipment. Just go to grossenberg.com and see what used equipment we have that you may want to upgrade to. Lots of 2023 units between tractors, combines, and everything in between. Stop into any of our 9 locations or browse online to see what will fit your operation. Grossenberg Implement has several late models available and great financing to help you with the cash flow. Visit with Grossenberg Sales Pros today to see what will fit your needs.
Are you stuck in a job that gives you no family life? Work for Sioux Steel and enjoy a 4-day work week. Choose from first or second shift and receive a sign-on bonus. Sioux Steel builds farm bins and livestock solutions. Sioux Steel is hiring right now for machine operators and general laborers for both first and second shift. Sioux Steel makes it easy to apply. Go to their ProTech division in Lennox for walk-in interviews Monday through Thursday from 1 till 5, or apply online at siouxsteel.com. Join the Sioux Steel team and work a flexible, family-friendly 4-day work week.
Do you have a pest problem? Got bats, ants, termites? Family owned and operated, Olson's Pest Technicians have had over 50 years experience taking care of pest problems in places across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa. Utilizing brilliant methods such as Centricon bait stations for termites and Vicane treatment for bed bugs. There's no pest too tough for Olson's Pest Technicians. If you have pest problems, call 800-KILL-BUGS.
When it comes to advertising, reaching the right market while giving back to the school is just plain right. If you're looking for an effective method that reaches a large fan base at once, then here's your ticket with Live Ticket TV. With over 90 schools in the state of South Dakota, we can help you advertise locally with just your home team or reach the region. Plus, a portion of all sales go directly back to the school. Get a hold of Heath Nimke today and let's get started in building your brand with Live Ticket TV.
Shields All Sports Store is your one stop for everything outdoors, with local experts eager to guide you through the widest selection of brands. Your one stop for exercise gear to get working out or fashions for going out. And your one stop for footwear in your size, your style, yours to take home today. Shields, employee owned, community minded, and like no place you've ever shopped before.
Navigating a mortgage can be scary. So when people tell me I want to buy a house, I start asking questions. I educate, I guide, and I help realize their dream of homeownership. I never want someone to buy a house and then realize they can't afford it. Each customer is unique. I'm here because it's not just about the loan, it's about relationships. My name is Terry Foster. I'm a mortgage banker here at the First National Bank in Sioux Falls, where we value relationships.
Section 16 Cattle Company is located 5 miles south of Canton on Highway 11. They sell both aged and yearling Hereford and Black Angus bulls annually at their production sale the second Saturday in March, and private treaty any time of the year. Their sole focus is producing bulls that will work for the commercial cattleman, backed by a multi-year breeding season guarantee. Learn more at section16cattleco.com or follow them on Facebook.
CoreCares helps individuals stay at home by offering caregiving, nursing, and medical alert systems in over 55 communities in South Dakota. Specializing in tasks like bathing, meal prep, and medication setups, our well-trained staff delivers exceptional care. We invest in our team through customized training and comprehensive benefits. To learn more about job opportunities or services, visit our website at corecares.com. CoreCares, proudly serving our community.
East River Siding provides an end-to-end client experience that includes seamless communication and expert guidance with honest advice. The quality of our craftsmanship is paramount for your property to stand the test of time against South Dakota's weather. We know exactly what it takes to do the job right the first time, and we're not only efficient, we're thorough. East River Siding is also an advantage seamless gutter provider and installer. For seamless gutter installation, we use the thickest gauge aluminum and most durable hangers available on the market. Call today for a free consultation.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
America's Best Value Inn in Kadoka is the perfect place to stay near the entrance to Badlands National Park. Many rooms are equipped with a refrigerator and microwave. Plus, you will enjoy standard queen or king-size beds. Limited pet rooms also available. Whether you are a hunter, a rodeo fan, or traveling on vacation, you will enjoy our complimentary in-room coffee, free Wi-Fi, breakfast room, and large parking area. With easy access to Interstate 90, we are the first hotel you see at exit 150. America's Best Value Inn, Kadoka.
Where are you going? Or maybe a better question is, how far do you want to go? And how fast do you want to get there? Now we're getting somewhere. So let's go. Let's go faster. Let's go further. Let's go beyond.
Since 1953, generations of family.
Koch Insurance, with offices in T, Yankton, Tyndall, Tabor, and Springfield, or online at KochInsurance.com.
Our clients are like family, greeted with a smile and treated with respect and dignity. This is who we are.
A tradition of personal service, Koch Insurance.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Out here, you learn that to keep growing, you have to keep changing. CHS and the farmers and ranchers we serve know all about change, because together we've changed agriculture. That's why we're the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the country. So farmers own the system they count on, with advantages at every step. From innovative tools that help crops grow, to grain processing expertise, to energy solutions, we create connections to empower agriculture. Learn more at chsinc.com.
Upgrade your ride at Grossenberg Implement, your Polaris dealer in Beersford.
Harvest and hunting are on the horizon.
So rap with Ranger Rick about limited time rebates on remaining 2023 Polaris ATVs and side-by-sides.
Rick's also got used machines in stock.
Plus parts, accessories, and service.
Upgrade your ride, dude.
You upgrade your ride.
With a new Polaris from Grossenberg's in Beersford.
Go to GrossenbergPowersports.com, Facebook, or call 605-763-5020.
Frank, when you think Fairway, you think fresh. Is that the winning culture you've tried to create?
Penelope Pineapple, what an unbelievable produce performance. How does your team stay so fresh?
Sun-kissed orange. Is it true Fairway has offered the freshest produce in town since 1938?
What can we say? Our produce is so fresh, we're speechless.
Are you looking to buy or sell real estate in the greater Sioux Falls area? Look no further than the Julie Roth Real Estate Team. With over 10 years experience in homes, this team has you covered from finding your dream home to designing and building your own. Julie Roth and her team put your needs first, whether it's your first home or fifth home. Experience hassle-free home buying and selling with the Julie Roth Real Estate Team. For information, visit julierothrealestate.com or call 605-740-0645.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
Experience the best of Watertown at Country Inn & Suites, the top-rated hotel in the region. Our friendly staff ensures a clean and comfortable stay, complemented by a delicious breakfast featuring waffles, eggs, sausage, cereal, and fruit. Guests can also enjoy a complimentary reception every Tuesday from 5 until 7, offering hot sandwiches, soup, and more. Conveniently located, we're your perfect stop for a great night's sleep and a pleasant stay. Country Inn & Suites is a proud sponsor of Watertown Arrows, Events, and Athletics. Book your stay with us today.
Grossenberg Implement just made it easier to find good used equipment. Just go to grossenberg.com and see what used equipment we have that you may want to upgrade to. Lots of 2023 units between tractors, combines, and everything in between. Stop into any of our 9 locations or browse online to see what will fit your operation. Grossenberg Implement has several late models available and great financing to help you with the cash flow. Visit with Grossenberg Sales Pros today to see what will fit your needs.
Are you stuck in a job that gives you no family life? Work for Sioux Steel and enjoy a 4-day work week. Choose from first or second shift and receive a sign-on bonus. Sioux Steel builds farm bins and livestock solutions. Sioux Steel is hiring right now for machine operators and general laborers for both first and second shift. Sioux Steel makes it easy to apply. Go to their ProTech division in Lenox for walk-in interviews Monday through Thursday from 1 till 5, or apply online at siouxsteel.com. Join the Sioux Steel team and work a flexible, family-friendly 4-day work week.
Do you have a pest problem? Got bats, ants, termites? Family owned and operated, Olson's Pest Technicians have had over 50 years experience taking care of pest problems in places across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa. Utilizing brilliant methods such as Centricon bait stations for termites and Vicane treatment for bed bugs. There's no pest too tough for Olson's Pest Technicians. If you have pest problems, call 800-KILL-BUGS.
When it comes to advertising, reaching the right market while giving back to the school is just plain right. If you're looking for an effective method that reaches a large fan base at once, then here's your ticket with Live Ticket TV. With over 90 schools in the state of South Dakota, we can help you advertise locally with just your home team or reach the region. Plus, a portion of all sales go directly back to the school. Get a hold of Heath Nimke today, and let's get started in building your brand with Live Ticket TV.
Shields All Sports Store is your one stop for everything outdoors, with local experts eager to guide you through the widest selection of brands. Your one stop for exercise gear to get working out or fashions for going out. And your one stop for footwear in your size, your style, yours to take home today. Scheels, employee-owned, community-minded, and like no place you've ever shopped before.
Navigating a mortgage can be scary. So when people tell me I want to buy a house, I start asking questions. I educate, I guide, and I help realize their dream of homeownership. I never want someone to buy a house and then realize they can't afford it. Each customer is unique. I'm here because it's not just about the loan, it's about relationships. My name is Terry Foster. I'm a mortgage banker here at the First National Bank in Sioux Falls, where we value relationships.
Section 16 Cattle Company is located 5 miles south of Canton on Highway 11. They sell both aged and yearling Hereford and Black Angus bulls annually at their production sale the second Saturday in March, and private treaty any time of the year. Their sole focus is producing bulls that will work for the commercial cattleman, backed by a multi-year breeding season guarantee. Learn more at section16cattleco.com or follow them on Facebook.
CoreCares helps individuals stay at home by offering caregiving, nursing, and medical alert systems in over 55 communities in South Dakota. Specializing in tasks like bathing, meal prep, and medication setups, our well-trained staff delivers exceptional care. We invest in our team through customized training and comprehensive benefits. To learn more about job opportunities or services, visit our website at corecares.com. CoreCares, proudly serving our community.
East River Siding provides an end-to-end client experience that includes seamless communication and expert guidance with honest advice. The quality of our craftsmanship is paramount for your property to stand the test of time against South Dakota's weather. We know exactly what it takes to do the job right the first time, and we're not only efficient, we're thorough. East River Siding is also an advantaged seamless gutter provider and installer. For seamless gutter installation, we use the thickest gauge aluminum and most durable hangers available on the market. Call today for a free consultation.
In times like these, it's good to know there's a place where people know who you are, no matter how long you've been gone. A place where the smells of home cooking are still in the air, where a simple wave warms your heart, and sharing stories is just a way of life. It's good to be home. Agraria Insurance Company, protecting what's important in life. Contact your local Agraria Insurance Company agent.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
America's Best Value Inn in Kadoka is the perfect place to stay near the entrance to Badlands National Park. Many rooms are equipped with a refrigerator and microwave. Plus, you will enjoy standard queen or king-size beds. Limited pet rooms also available. Whether you are a hunter, a rodeo fan, or traveling on vacation, you will enjoy our complimentary in-room coffee, free Wi-Fi, breakfast room, and large parking area. With easy access to Interstate 90, we are the first hotel you see at exit 150. America's Best Value Inn, Kadoka.
Where are you going? Or maybe a better question is, how far do you want to go? And how fast do you want to get there? Now we're getting somewhere. So let's go. Let's go faster. Let's go further. Let's go beyond.
Since 1953, generations of family.
Koch Insurance, with offices in T, Yankton, Tyndall, Tabor, and Springfield, or online at kochininsurance.com.
Our clients are like family, greeted with a smile and treated with respect and dignity. This is who we are.
A tradition of personal servants, Koch Insurance.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Welcome back to the Fairway Press Box. Shop Fairway in Harrisburg for all your grocery needs. At Fairway, your family.
We'd like to welcome you to Harrisburg Tiger Stadium, I guess. Tiger Stadium here tonight from the Fairway Press Box. This is Corey Halstonson. Alongside me is Chris Murray. And we will be bringing you this, what looks to be, I think, an exciting semifinal matchup between Harrisburg and T.
Welcome, everyone. Should be a good game.
These two teams, Chris, we were both at the game. These two teams met a few weeks back. And, of course, I should mention, for the people that don't know, T, this is their first year moving up in Double A.
Correct, yep.
So
not unfamiliar to playing against Harrisburg, but Harrisburg has always kind of been the bane of our existence, I guess. We've got our butts handed to us many, many times over the last few years, but earlier in the year it was kind of more of the same. I can't remember the score of that game. Was it 4-0?
4-0, yeah. And that was out in T.
That was actually in T.
That's already back the end of August.
Yeah, that was. It seems like it wasn't that long ago, but it was.
Still was pretty early for both teams, kind of trying to shake the cobwebs out from a lot of those girls a month or so off the field, maybe in some cases from club teams and other sports. But now they've all had 3 months really running at this, and I think both teams are probably as prepared as they're going to be and ready to go. And state championship berth on the line this coming Saturday down in Yankton. And the other interesting point is the other part of this matchup is last year's single A and last year's Double A state champions.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think there's a big difference in who's coming back for those two teams as well. I know Harrisburg graduated with probably what was the best senior class in the history of girls high school soccer. But T only graduated 2 players, and one of them is being replaced by a girl who was our keeper last year until she tore her ACL here in Harrisburg. And then the other one that's being replacing wasn't out on the team last year. She decided to play club soccer out of Omaha. So T's returning a lot of starters, a lot of experience, and Harrisburg graduated nearly everyone. And between injuries and graduation, Harrisburg just was really kind of almost like starting over. But it hasn't really mattered because obviously they're 16-0 and still the bane of our existence.
Well, and you're right. Harrisburg graduated 11 seniors last year. I think about 9 of them played significant either started or played significant minutes. There are 8 seniors, though, surprisingly enough, on this Harrisburg team, but only one of them really has had varsity experience coming into the year. Well, 2 of them actually. Tierney Milady, who tore her ACL back in June and has missed the entire season. So other than that, you've got one starter, one player really, that has significant experience just on the high school field and certainly in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's just crazy to be 16-0 with only one real returning starter. It's very, very impressive. Haley's done a great job. Haley Fisher's done a fantastic job with this team.
She really has as a first-year coach. That's and coming in off of back-to-back state titles. Eric Christensen coached them the last 4 years. And, of course, that graduating class, one of probably the best teams South Dakota's ever seen, for sure, in AA. So to come out this year and be undefeated, that's, I can't tell you I expected that.
Yeah, without question, that was probably the best team that this state will probably ever see. And it was just dominating for that many years, and is just super impressive. And he built a really good program, and it's going to wind up being very solid for years to come, based on kind of the way he set things up and the players that he has. He's just got, seems like an endless stream of talent coming in.
Yeah, and I think, and both of these schools have a lot of club kids, probably more than most schools, AA or A. These 2 schools have a lot of club kids that come over and play. To play high school soccer. So you end up having, you go around the state, there's other teams in the state that don't necessarily have a full stable of club kids that are playing year round.
Yep.
I think it's safe to say I know Harrisburg, all the starters, with the exception of one, are club kids, but she grew up playing club, not one. And I guess I don't know, you would know a little bit more about T than I would.
Well, I think that T does have its share of club players, and it's probably a majority of the players. A lot of them play at Tempo, where a lot of the Harrisburg girls, except for maybe one, will play more at Dakota Alliance. So it's just a little bit of a difference there. But yeah, they've played club soccer. That's a dangerous ball early. It's a good good clearance. They got to clear it a little bit stronger than that.
Kind of the second time Harrisburg's been down in that offensive zone, this time with a much better chance than before.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest challenge for T is pressuring the ball enough and making sure that we don't give wide open shots around the top of the 18, because that's really what killed us in the first meeting. I think Auburn Barrett had 3 goals in that game, and I think the closest one was 30 yards or 35 yards away. And that's just something that, you really don't expect at, in a high school game, or really maybe any game, to have kids scoring from that distance. But Auburn's got a cannon for a leg, and she was just absolutely dialed in this year with that. And I think that was 3 out of her 5 goals on the season. So
yeah, that was a big day.
That was a huge day for her. Yeah. Yeah,
and she's been a solid player all year, and she actually is one that played significant minutes last year as well.
Right.
Mostly off the bench. I believe she did have a couple goals last year, but was a good reserve coming in off the bench for Harrisburg, and filled some important minutes.
I don't know if this is putting you on the spot or not, but I haven't really paid any attention, unfortunately, to Harrisburg's JV, and I know, to my knowledge, the last team to ever beat a Harrisburg JV team were the girls in white out here today, and that was, I think, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure they've lost. Did they have that good a season this year as well?
I think so.
That's a really scary ball.
I don't know about their record, but I don't think they lost again. So.
Yeah, like I said, they just have so much talent coming up too. I think they're going to be very, very good for a long time.
For starters, for the starters in the game, just want to kind of run through these for you, for those watching. Reagan Shelsky is starting in goal for Harrisburg tonight. She's a junior. Across the defensive line, on the right side is Abby Detterman. She's a senior. She is committed to Dakota Wesleyan University to continue her soccer play there. In the middle, Claire Backstrom. Claire is also a junior. The other center defender is Taylor Halstonson, who also happens to be a captain, is a senior and is going to Mankato State, Minnesota State Mankato, next year to play soccer. On the other side, across the defense, is Bria Miller, a sophomore. Through the middle, Addie Budig. Addie is actually a phenomenal hurdler. And I know she's going to be, I don't think she committed yet, but she's going to be going potentially Division I, high-level Division II. She's a senior, plays the defensive mid. The two forward mids for Harrisburg are Auburn Barrett, who we mentioned before. Auburn is she's a junior. And on the other side is Bryn Scogan, who is also a junior. And then across the top, Nia Ware, who's a junior. Riley Gallagher, a freshman. And Lily Hirsch, also a senior. And that's your starters for Harrisburg. Know these kids from T a little better, Chris.
Yeah, for T, it's like I mentioned before, they have a lot of returning players. You've got a senior keeper in Abby Munson. You've also on the right side in the back, you've got Maya Newhart, who was first team All-State in the A ranks last year. Very, very fast. I don't know if she's going to wind up running track or playing soccer. I think she's going to have a choice. Others in the back line include Kate Giles, who's only a sophomore and a very solid defensive player. Reese Hammerquist is also a senior playing center back. And on the left side of the back line is Olivia Johnson, who's a junior. In the midfield, Chloe Wilson, who's going to be playing next year in the fall at University of Sioux Falls. She plays holding mid. The other midfielders are Sage Hoffman, and the other one would be Ellie Clayberg. And both of those girls are very good athletes. Both of them are juniors. I think Ellie is a 3 or 4 sport athlete. I can't even remember. She's very, very talented, very good basketball player as well. Up top on the offense, you'll have Elena Otten playing the right side. You'll have Kendra Nielsen. Both Elena and Kendra and Kaya, who's on the left side, are all seniors. Kaya will be playing soccer next fall at Bethany Lutheran in Mankato. So there's plenty of talent on both sides of the field, and early on they're just kind of feeling each other out. And so far, Harrisburg's getting a little bit better of the action here, keeping it down on their offensive half. She's going to have to figure out a way to get through that defense. And my fear from the game the other night against O'Gorman was that O'Gorman might have woke the sleeping giant a little bit. It wasn't probably Harrisburg's best game of the year, and I figured that this one was going to be a tough one. That's a really good ball from Chloe.
You know, we've both seen Chloe play a lot, and I think sometimes Chloe doesn't get the credit that she deserves. She's about as solid as a defensive mid as you're going to see, especially in the high school ranks.
Absolutely.
Very good with her feet. Very smart player. And as you can see here so far, there's a lot of these balls. She's in the line.
Right.
She's clearing balls. She's, as you mentioned, she's had a couple balls that she's in there again. So I think. You know, the one thing that Harrisburg has seen a lot the last couple of years, teams that will come and play them with 8 players in the box.
Right.
And for those of you non-soccer people or don't know those numbers, they're going to put their 4 defenders and probably 4 mids all back with the goalie just to try to keep Harrisburg from scoring. Mark is not going to do that with his T team. He never has done that. But I think with what Chloe's been doing so far, I think that they are definitely trying to disrupt Harrisburg's rhythm by sending these balls deep and clearing that zone.
Yeah, I think that Coach Mark Anderson, we were playing a traditional 4-3-3, and for those at home, that's 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 in the front. It's a pretty solid defensive formation, and Chloe in the middle. You're right; she doesn't get the credit probably that because she skipped her junior year to play on an elite team out of Omaha last fall. But came back for her senior year and has had a really, really solid season. But the biggest thing is with any defense is they're going to have to communicate, and that's one of the things that we've struggled with a little bit. We've got 4 girls on the back line that don't do a lot of talking in a normal situation and are just genuinely kind of shy individuals, but they're really going to have to talk today because they've kind of been under siege with that's a good ball. That's trouble.
A very
right
nice
there.
pass in from Addie Budig to Naya Aware. You're going to have to help me with the defender's name.
No, that's
but it was
okay.
A nice stop.
That was Maya Newhart on the defense. But yeah, they're going to be under siege, and that's going to be the biggest key. I don't see this being a high scoring game from a overall goal standpoint. I just think there's just too much talent. But Harrisburg is dangerous and can put something out there anytime. They can hang 3 or 4 goals on you in a very, very short amount of time.
You mentioned Auburn's strong leg, and I think in watching a lot of games this year, and this isn't necessarily a knock on her, but she took that shot from a spot she probably shouldn't have taken it from. That's a ball you probably need to drive into the goal, make the defenders commit and try to make a play or with one of your teammates. But with that strong leg, I have seen her at times where she's trying to hammer one in from deep. She knows that she can do it. So
well, I think that there's an opportunity there too. I think that to some degree I would embrace that from a coaching standpoint, just because when teams see that she can do that, and obviously T knows that she can do that because of the last game, like we mentioned, that's going to force T out of the box and have somebody pressure her and defend her. And if you have to come out that far, that's just one less person that you can put back on defense. That's a good ball by Chloe again. So I think that it has its advantages. I think that she's going to have to mix it up and not do the same thing over and over again. But I think it does have its benefit of pulling people out on defense.
Yeah, I would agree. And you see here some of these balls that T is sending in deep, and the one thing that I think Harrisburg especially has been good at this year, and you talk about low scoring, Chris, Harrisburg's given up 2 goals this year in 16 games.
That's insane.
One of those games was on a free kick, so not during the normal run of play. The other one was later in the game against Brandon when they were up by 2-1, and Brandon was frantically trying to get back in the game. What you'll see is how far Harrisburg's defenders are pulled up. Now, part of that is from experience, and Taylor's the one that's returning. She's been starting for 5 years. There's a ton of experience there, both in high school and on the club level. And when you get a player like that, and a player like Claire, who also does an excellent job, but you have 2 center defenders that are so solid at keeping that line up so that when those through balls go through, the other team's offense is so far back,
right,
that there's not a play. So we've seen Reagan Shelsky field balls under 0 pressure so far because they've got they're doing a good job of keeping that defense up.
Well, and I think that's something that started a few years ago again with Eric Christensen, and he always said that the best defense is a strong offense, and if he can just send everybody up on the attack, you're so busy defending that you don't really have time to attack and don't have the numbers to attack. But you're absolutely right when it comes to Taylor. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better center back that's probably played the game in this state in the last probably 4 or 5 years. So she brings a ton of experience, and she's kind of like an eraser. She just kind of makes other people's mistakes kind of go away. And I think that's something that as a coach or as a fan, you just got to love how she hustles and helps her teammates and is probably the field general for the Tigers on defense. So that's a great header, great ball, and apparently she was offside. So that's the first real chance for T, and that was a pretty good one, but I'm okay with a little bit of offside. Just don't want to make the habit of that.
And I think somebody somewhere on the defense there lost a player on the backside. There was 2 T players on the backside of the goal, and the one just kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit, so to speak.
Well, and for those that really maybe don't understand soccer a ton, really the game of soccer is really trying to unbalance the field in certain parts of the field, and you want to have what's called a numerical advantage, where you have more players in an area than the other team, and that's really how goals wind up getting scored is a player, like you mentioned, gets a little bit lost or loses a player and winds up costing them. So we'll see what winds up happening in this game. But so far, the defenses have both been pretty solid, and it looks like the T's starting to maybe come to life a little bit and getting the ball more on the other end a little bit more instead of playing back on their heels.
The other note to make about low-scoring games, both of these teams, as unusual as it might seem as there's another offsides, and Riley was clearly offsides there. She just got caught trailing the play. The ball all of a sudden got switched back, and she gets caught offsides. Both of these teams played to a 0-0 tie last week in the quarterfinals, both going all the way to PKs to advance.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
Both of them have very solid defenses that can shut another team down.
Well, and you and I have had some serious experience with 0-0 ties and PKs from the national championship game a couple years ago, but I don't think there's anything more nerve-wracking as a coach, as a player, as a keeper, as a parent, or even a grandparent than sitting through a PK shootout when you know what's kind of on the line. During the regular season, a tie is perfectly fine, but in the postseason, unfortunately, there has to be a winner and a loser, and that's just a real tough way to go out. And that game with O'Gorman and Harrisburg last week was one of those games. And the same thing with the T game against Washington. It was just really unfortunate to have one of those teams have to lose.
Yeah, it always is. It comes down to PKs. It's kind of a skills competition at that point, and probably unfairly, it kind of gets laid on the goalie. And that's an awfully big goal for somebody to stop a ball from. We've had a few. I missed the one substitution as we just had one more.
Yeah, we just had
earlier. Taylor Syverson came in and replaced Lily Hirsch. That was the first sub. Taylor's number 12. She is up right forward, right wing right now.
And into the game for T came Heidi Hofer, number 3. She's also playing on the right forward spot, and she's kind of the player that T always seems to bring in at this point in the game to hopefully give a little lift or a little spark to the team in hopes, with her work rate. She's very, very fast, very quick, and just is really, really pesky on defense. I'm a little surprised that Naya's taken this one and not Auburn, but that's a good ball.
Yeah.
And she bobbled it, and in it goes. Well, maybe there was a reason for Naya taking that.
I was just going to say that's her second or third of those this year.
Is it really?
That she scored, yeah.
I guess
from
I was
about
just
that
having,
same spot, too.
Yeah, I was just having nightmares from Auburn doing that 3 times in one game. And I mean, that's a really tough way to start for Abby Munson, but that's a tough ball. And she got her hands on it, but I think it's unfortunate that didn't get knocked down a little bit stronger.
So Harrisburg goes up 16-59 into the first half, 1-0. We talking about defense, and my experience with Harrisburg is there's a lot of game left, obviously, but a 1-0 lead for Harrisburg is almost like, for a baseball reference, a guy like when Justin Verlander was in his prime, if he got up 1-0, it's over.
Yeah,
the game's
it was
over because
that
guy was his own starter, his own closer. And the game is just over. But you've seen T play. They can score. Both of these defenses are good. There's a lot of game left.
Yeah, what I'm looking for is just to see on both sides how do they handle that. You gave up a goal, so what? Let's go back and keep playing hard. If you're T, don't get down. Get your head down. But at the same time, I look at Harrisburg and look at it and think, you can't take your foot off the gas. You've got to keep playing hard because as a player or a coach or a parent, I am not comfortable with only a 1-0 lead. So that can evaporate very, very quickly. That's a really good ball by Naya.
Yeah, and Harrisburg, we talk a little bit about the youth that Harrisburg has this year. Taylor being a senior, 5th-year starter, Addie Budig didn't start but played a lot of minutes last year outside of an injury. She was out for a few games. Auburn Barrett played quite a few minutes, probably about the same as Addie, as Taylor Paez comes in here for Naya Ware for Harrisburg. Harrisburg seems to be a team, and early on in the year, you have all this inexperience, call it, at the high school level. And a lot of these girls that are a lot younger. And as you and I both know, the high school game is 180 degrees from club soccer.
For sure.
It's a more it's a more physical, less technical game than the club game is.
For sure.
In general. And what I saw coming up from through the year with Harrisburg is early on, these girls trying to figure out, what is this high school game like?
That's trouble. Ooh.
And there was that, and having not played a lot at this level, that lack of ability to finish.
Mm-hmm.
When they did score goals, it seemed like that kind of took that anxiety off, and they would generally score multiple goals.
Right.
But last week, I think you saw a team, to be frank, that panicked under the pressure that O'Gorman put on them. And I'll give O'Gorman credit all day long.
Yeah, O'Gorman played phenomenal, and I think that their energy and their work rate and just believing that they belonged in that game was huge. And I think that I watched it too. They really took it to Harrisburg for most of that game, and I think good teams find a way to win, but that was one of those games where O'Gorman got a little unlucky and probably had every right to win that game. But again, that's why you play the full 80, and then we played another 20 after. That's a foul, looks like, on Chloe Wilson. That's going to be another free kick, which we cannot do if we're T.
And this will be Auburn
Barrett.
Barrett.
I was going to say, this is Auburn Barrett. This is going to be
she and Lily Hirsch just returned to the game. Lily's number 15.
Lily's one of my favorite players on Harrisburg. I know she's only been here for a year, and I don't know where. I think she transferred or moved here from.
They moved in from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Family around here. I believe Dad was in the military, and I'm not sure if he retired or what. But they just recently moved back. Most recently in Kentucky. She's played a lot of club soccer. And my understanding is she's actually going to be playing with the U19 DAS team this year. Is potentially going to be playing with them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And just her work rate and just her energy and her physicality, I think, is very, very cool. There's a goal on that's a Olympico.
I missed it here. I was just checking the score.
I only caught the end of it
of our game.
I'm not even sure who took
the other
that
side
shot.
of the state. 8:35 left in the first half, and there might have just been a goal scored. It's 0-0, Rapid City and Aberdeen in the other semifinal.
I think that's going to be a good game too. Aberdeen Central's playing much, much, much better later in the year. My understanding is they had a few girls that were injured, and they've come back and with a vengeance and knocked off some really, really good teams. And I think that Stevens is going to have their hands full. Going to try to figure out who scored that goal. It looked like it was an Olympico on a corner kick.
That's kind of what I was looking at. It was Auburn Barrett kicking that took the corner kick.
Oh, she took the corner kick?
Yeah, I believe so.
And for those at home, an Olympico is a goal scored on a corner kick, which is pretty rare unless your name is Auburn Barrett, apparently. But like I said, that's something that you don't see very often, and most of the time it's usually wind-aided, but with a very clear and calm night here tonight, there's no wind.
No, there's no wind tonight. You'd almost be playing indoors is kind of what it feels like, other than the 50-degree temperature.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I'm glad I'm sitting in the press box and not sitting on those metal bleachers.
Yes. I prefer the heated press box much more.
Got a couple more subs coming in for Harrisburg.
It wasn't Olympico, Chris. It was Auburn that scored.
Wow.
Just got confirmation of that. 2 subs in for Harrisburg. Looks like Nia Ware back in the game, number 4, and number 28, Riley Gallagher.
And in Abby Munson's defense, those goals are not easy to stop. I mean, the high ball is very, very difficult, and on an Olympico, you're usually on the near post, and the ball usually goes in on the opposite post. So if it's struck well, it's coming in over your head, and you're just kind of hung out to dry. So it's very, very tough. In for the Titans, number 4, Sydney Stoliker. I believe she's just a sophomore, and she's a heck of a track athlete too. I think her mom was like some kind of world-class sprinter back in the day, but so she obviously gets her athleticism from her mom. Her dad, not so much. But she's a really good kid and a really good player, and she kind of comes in and gives us a little bit of a spark on offense, and is just a smart all-around player. You might even see her in the midfield or even back, playing outside back as well. So she plays kind of all over the field. But they're going to have their hands full now. Like I said, T is going to have to do something or change something or do something a little different. But Harrisburg's just going to have to try to not have a letdown and just kind of keep doing more of the same.
Yeah, and this looks a little more like, even though both goals so far by Harrisburg have not come during what we would call the normal run of play, they've both been created by that.
Mm-hmm.
When you know, off of a corner and off of a free kick. Now they're both going directly in, but I see Harrisburg playing much more with much less anxiety tonight than they did on Saturday. And that first goal probably took a lot of pressure off of it. And the other thing is, a lot of these girls that don't have as much experience they grew up a lot on Saturday afternoon against that team from O'Gorman.
100%.
And Libby Castelli, I mean, you can't say enough about her. We've both seen her play a ton. She's
Love
one of the
that
most
kid.
Dynamic players in the state, and
She's
she
probably
was
one of the
running
most-
circles around people.
Yeah, she was probably one of the most dynamic players the state has seen. She's just phenomenal with a soccer ball. When you're going to North Carolina Tar Heels to run track and cross country, she just has a motor like nobody else's, and is just quick and like I said, that's a dangerous ball.
That is a dangerous
that's good
ball.
defense
There's
by
probably
Claire.
a little bit of a lack of communication there between Taylor Halstonson was trying to make a play on it with
That's
her
a
head,
really
and
good steal.
Reagan Shelsky kind of came up behind her to try to get it. I don't know. Of course, we can't hear up here.
Right.
Generally, when something like that happens, there's a lack of communication between the goalie and the defender.
Well, that's got to be the keeper. I mean, you know, when I coached, the keeper was the quarterback of the defense. I think that, again, with her age, maybe she's not as comfortable, you know, yelling at, you know, juniors and seniors, but I think that's something that she's going to have to do just to avoid situations like that. It's probably very, very fortunate that you have somebody with Taylor's experience on the back line to be able to make sure that that stuff doesn't happen. Into the game for the Titans is number 1, Piper McKinney, and number 29, Zoe Kreidler. Both of them are juniors. And like I said, I think Coach Mark Anderson is, I think, just kind of looking for answers right now and maybe trying to get some coaching done on the sidelines right now. It's been, they're probably a little bit shell shocked right now, being down 2-0 in the first 25 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I would guess that's not what they expected coming in.
Did we ever get confirmation on the goal in the other game?
No, it was
potentially?
offsides.
Oh, they called it.
There was an offsides on that goal, so it's still 0-0 with
Gotcha.
about 5 minutes left, I believe, in the first half.
It's a good run by Chloe, a good ball.
Also in the game now for Harrisburg, number 16 is Sarah Nazer. She's a freshman. She's gotten significant minutes this year and has been a solid player. The other one is Lily Kunzelman, a junior midfielder, and she's number 11.
Well, I love what Coach Fisher is doing with this, because knowing that a lot of these girls haven't seen playoff soccer at the AA level and have come off of playing a full JV schedule the last couple years, the level of soccer in the playoffs is completely different than the regular season, and it's just a little bit more pressure and a little bit faster and a little more physical. I think it's going to serve them well, getting some of these younger girls some time in a big game like this.
For sure.
It's another good ball by Chloe. Just can't get anybody on the end of it. Claire and Taylor have just been phenomenal all season. Well, and your keeper as well. That's got to be an offsides. Yep.
That was by about a leg.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. There's been some changes with the offsides rule. And from my vantage point, I don't know when or if that's coming to high school soccer. But
I don't know when and if it's coming to South Dakota or
from
club,
my vantage point, that is not offsides because she wasn't completely beyond.
Yeah, for those at
player.
home. Yeah, for those at home, offside is considered when you are even 1 inch behind the back defensive player when the ball is played,
front, depending on how you're looking at it.
Yeah. So if the offensive player is closer to the goal than the back defender, not including the keeper, that's considered offside. But they're looking at doing a new rule that's going to just throw a monkey wrench into all of that, and I think it's designed to increase scoring, but I think it's just going to be a nightmare to call. Well, there's one right in the midsection for the referee. Yeah, the offside is going to be is going to be key in this game because everybody's excited and wants to play. Here's Auburn again on the drop kick, on the drop ball. Just plays it in. And we've got Abby Ringo in the game for T, number 33. She's going to be playing, looks like left outside back. Oh, looks like, no, I could take that back. She looks like she's playing on the left wing. My fault. She's a great kid and a great little player. She's fast and has learned a lot this year and come a long way. She's going to be one of the players to watch next year for the Titans.
Stevens just scored, Chris, just with about 1:28 left in the first half, so they are now up 1-0 on Aberdeen. Stevens also undefeated this year. Last year, as good as Harrisburg and Mitchell were, they both lost once.
Right.
Mitchell lost to Aberdeen late in the season, and then, of course, to
That's
Harrisburg.
A great ball by Lily.
In the championship, Harrisburg lost the first game of the year to Mitchell.
Yeah.
And then never lost again. So Harrisburg's on a 32-game winning streak, actually, for the Harrisburg Tigers.
That's crazy. That's crazy for anybody, but even at AA, that's going to be, if that winds up being the matchup and the scores kind of hold, that's a dangerous ball. It's a good job by Abby coming out. But that's going to be one for the ages, having a team that's going to be potentially 17-0 versus a team that's 15-0.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun to watch.
And in this 32-game run, Chris, Harrisburg's given up 5 goals.
That's ridiculous. But I think Harrisburg's done a good job of possessing the ball. Where against O'Gorman, I felt like there's a whiff and a little tumble.
Little shark attack.
Yeah, I was going to say that darn 5 in the middle of the field just reached out and bit her. But the game against O'Gorman, there was just a little bit of panic, and I think that it was a big moment and some nerves and things like that. But the Tiger girls are really doing a good job this game, just keeping their composure and possessing the ball and connecting, where against O'Gorman it seemed like they just kind of a lot of times didn't have a purpose when they were passing. They were just kicking it to kick it, which is obviously, as a coach, what you really don't want. Looks like you got a whole lineup coming in here.
And Riley Gallagher had a nice move there to create some space and get a pretty good shot off. Coming in for Harrisburg, number 6, Zoe Gallagher. She's a senior. She's also her sister is still on the field, so both Gallaghers are on the field.
That's very cool.
Delaney Rockfam comes in. She's a junior defender. I had just looked out there. Now I'm trying to find him. Sierra Kiso, number 33. She is playing in the mid. And who else came in for us?
Good step by Reese.
I apologize
Abby
if
getting
this
bottled up and gets out,
parent
and that'll be an easy call.
watching and I'm missing it. But who was the other player that came in?
34, 33. Or 32. Yeah, no, 34, 33.
There was a foul on Piper McKinney trying to pressure
I'll
that.
figure it out at some point.
Yeah, 33.
Delaney came in. Zoe Gallagher came in. Sahara Kiso came in. And there was one other that's
24?
Was returning to the game.
I'm noticing that T's outside forwards are getting quite far back on defense. I don't know if that's by design or not, but when that ball comes out, when they clear it out of the box, or when they play it long like they just did there, there's really nobody up there but one player, and Harrisburg has got 4 girls standing back there, so that's not really ever going to end well for an offense. It's a great job of controlling that ball by Sydney. And good pressure and a good step. So, yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting to see how these girls handle the last 47 and a half minutes. That's a really good ball. See if Zoe can get on the end of that.
Oh, there's a textbook.
Yeah, I was just going to say
signature move there.
I wish I had $1 for every time I saw that move in club or high school. That one is textbook.
You know, the other thing about Harrisburg is with a player like Addie Budig, and Addie grew up playing club soccer, stopped playing club soccer a couple years ago. Fantastic hurdler. Long legs and is really fast. So when you're playing that center defender position, she almost makes it like a 5th defender because she can cover so much ground so quickly.
Long legs, great anticipation. And for me, I would challenge you to find a better kid than Addie Budig. I mean, like, for me, if you don't like Addie Budig, there might be something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? She's
I
just a
would agree.
fantastic kid and just a great player. And I think that her, if she chose to play soccer, I think that she could definitely play at the next level. But I think she's going to want to run, and wherever she decides to run, I think she's going to kill it. Not really a whole lot happening in the game at this point. Harrisburg's possessing the ball, and T's just really kind of struggling to get anything going. Harrisburg's been pressuring and anticipating very, very well, and has really been first to the ball more oftentimes than not.
I would imagine that was a point of emphasis for Coach Fisher, because at least in the first half on Saturday, Harrisburg was first to the ball about 0 times.
Yeah,
it was not good, and that was a big part of it. O'Gorman was just simply out hustling, outplaying them.
Well, and when I was at the T game at that time, calling that game against Washington, and when you were telling me that it wasn't going well, I thought you were just exaggerating, being a dad, and and
you're
just,
being nice. I know.
But then when I watched it, I was like, wow, he was really spot on with what he was saying, and it really was surprising to me, because I've never seen these girls play like that for even a 15 or 20 minute span, much less a full game.
I know there was a bunch of subs in for T. Taylor Severson just came back in at the right wing for Harrisburg. The other thing, and you and I had talked about it, and I think you kind of mentioned it earlier.
It's a really good job.
In addition to not being first to balls, Harrisburg, a lot of and this comes with panicking and being nervous and being in a situation you haven't been in before, and kind of freezing up. And really, when you in the game of soccer, you got to have a plan. When you get the ball, you got to be
100%.
one step ahead.
Yep.
You get the ball, you got to know where you're going with it. You got to know where the defenders are that are around you, and that comes from you knowing what's going on and knowing where you're at on the field, and also communication from your teammates. And
agree.
And being a little closer to the field on Saturday, there wasn't a lot of communication. They weren't getting to balls first, and there wasn't, when they did get balls, it was like there was no plan. They didn't really know what they were supposed to do with it, and that was unusual, because
I've never seen it.
that.
Like I said, I've never seen it out of Harrisburg. I mean, usually it's like Harrisburg's playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers, and that was one of the first times I've seen Harrisburg play checkers. So it was really, really a shock to me. You've got Heidi Hofer coming into the game right now for Sage Hoffman. Give her a little bit of a breather before halftime. But I agree with you completely, and it was really, really out of character for them, and that's one of the reasons why I just kind of, I won't say blew it off, but I was very, very surprised. But I really didn't anticipate seeing that again in a game like today's. That was a good turn by Kendra, and just couldn't quite get enough on it to threaten the goal.
And one thing that might have helped Harrisburg is you've got, Taylor and, of course, Tierney, who's on the bench, but who's been on the bench. She's at all the practices, is a leader on the team.
She's like a third assistant or fourth assistant, however many assistants you have.
She's in the black coats.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a few of them down there tonight.
Yeah.
But when you have two kids that have played at such a high level for so many games, so many different situations, and both were on both of these returning state championship teams, there's some information they can impart on the other players after that game on Saturday and say, hey, this, we made it. We got through that game. We're lucky, but that's how every game is going to be from this point on. So get used to it.
Right.
Play soccer. Stop thinking about it. Just play soccer.
Well,
because the talent's there.
And one of the things that I would say too is well, first of all, between Tierney and Taylor, there's probably hasn't been two center backs in the state that have been that solid, much less having them on the same team. And I would say in club as well, probably two of the best center backs in the country, and they proved it. But the thing that I love about Taylor is that you can never tell if you guys are ahead by 3 or, down by 1, or if it's tied or whatever. She's just very, very calm and very, 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 very calculating with everything that she does, and just plays hard all the time, and just always seems to be in control and never really gets lost. And you'll see certain players, gets caught staring at a ball and somebody sneaks in behind them, but you just don't see that with Taylor, and you didn't see that when Tierney played either. And Claire Backstrom has just been ridiculously
She's
good
been
this
excellent,
year.
yeah.
I don't know where you would have played those three had Tierney been healthy. I don't know if Taylor would have moved up and played holding mid or what would have happened. But, I mean, that's just kind of an embarrassment of riches. That's kind of ridiculous.
Well, and the other thing we haven't talked about yet, Izzy Smithback.
Oh,
As a junior.
Yeah.
Izzy blew her knee out in, I'm trying to remember which game it was. I want to say
Yeah, that one broke
the
my heart,
Washington
man.
game, I think, is when it was.
Yeah, that one was a
Just a
heartbreaker.
non-contact deal, trying to turn back on a ball right here at home, blew it out. Izzy is a very solid player. Izzy was playing an outside back. Well, at the time, she had been playing center back because Taylor was already hurt.
Right.
Taylor missed about 6 games this year due to a concussion that she got in the Brandon game. So Izzy had moved back into the center back spot. Well, you mentioned where would these girls play, and I know from a conversation I had with Coach Fisher before the season started, her plan was to put Tierney and Izzy on the outsides to have those players that could push the ball up the field, and then have Claire and Taylor in the middle. So
yeah, you lose 2 studs on defense, 2 studs that are starters on defense, and give up 2 goals on the season. Yeah. That's just absolutely insane. T just can't seem to get multiple passes strung together once they kind of get, and they just kind of turn and try to get through instead of. I'd like to see her turn and carry that a little bit, or try to put some pressure on the defense. But I think they're just trying to hurry with that. I guess that was with time running out in the first half, I guess.
And Chloe, again, there you see Chloe just in how disruptive she can be in the middle of the field. Her feet are so excellent. And some of these girls, again, haven't really seen a lot of that.
For sure.
This year, even though we've been in 16 games. So with that, halftime, 2-0 Harrisburg here from Tiger Stadium in Harrisburg, South Dakota. We're going to go to break. We'll be back with you in the second half.
Out here, you learn that to keep growing, you have to keep changing. CHS and the farmers and ranchers we serve know all about change, because together we've changed agriculture. That's why we're the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the country. So farmers own the system they count on, with advantages at every step. From innovative tools that help crops grow, to grain processing expertise, to energy solutions, we create connections to empower agriculture. Learn more at chsinc.com.
Upgrade your ride at Grossenberg Implement, your Polaris dealer in Beersford.
Harvest and hunting are on the horizon.
So rap with Ranger Rick about limited time rebates on remaining 2023 Polaris ATVs and side-by-sides.
Rick's also got used machines in stock.
Plus parts, accessories, and service.
Upgrade your ride, dude.
You upgrade your ride.
With a new Polaris from Grossenberg's in Beersford.
Go to GrossenbergPowersports.com, Facebook, or call 605-763-5020.
Frank, when you think Fairway, you think fresh. Is that the winning culture you've tried to create?
Penelope Pineapple, what an unbelievable produce performance. How does your team stay so fresh?
Sunkissed Orange. Is it true Fairway has offered the freshest produce in town since 1938?
What can we say? Our produce is so fresh, we're speechless.
Are you looking to buy or sell real estate in the greater Sioux Falls area? Look no further than the Julie Roth Real Estate Team. With over 10 years experience in homes, this team has you covered, from finding your dream home to designing and building your own. Julie Roth and her team put your needs first, whether it's your first home or 5th home. Experience hassle-free home buying and selling with the Julie Roth Real Estate Team. For information, visit julierothrealestate.com or call 605-740-0645.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
Experience the best of Watertown at Country Inn & Suites, the top-rated hotel in the region. Our friendly staff ensures a clean and comfortable stay. complemented by a delicious breakfast featuring waffles, eggs, sausage, cereal, and fruit. Guests can also enjoy a complimentary reception every Tuesday from 5 until 7, offering hot sandwiches, soup, and more. Conveniently located, we're your perfect stop for a great night's sleep and a pleasant stay. Country Inn & Suites is a proud sponsor of Watertown Arrows Events and Athletics. Book your stay with us today.
Grossenberg Implement just made it easier to find good used equipment. Just go to grossenberg.com and see what used equipment we have that you may want to upgrade to. Lots of 2023 units between tractors, combines, and everything in between. Stop into any of our 9 locations or browse online to see what will fit your operation. Grossenberg Implement has several late models available and great financing to help you with the cash flow. Visit with Grossenberg Sales Pros today to see what will fit your needs.
Are you stuck in a job that gives you no family life? Work for Sioux Steel and enjoy a 4-day work week. Choose from first or second shift and receive a sign-on bonus. Sioux Steel builds farm bins and livestock solutions. Sioux Steel is hiring right now for machine operators and general laborers for both first and second shift. Sioux Steel makes it easy to apply. Go to their ProTech division in Lenox for walk-in interviews Monday through Thursday from 1 till 5, or apply online at siouxsteel.com. Join the Sioux Steel team and work a flexible, family-friendly 4-day work week.
Do you have a pest problem? Got bats, ants, termites? Family owned and operated, Olson's Pest Technicians have had over 50 years experience taking care of pest problems in places across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa. Utilizing brilliant methods such as Centricon bait stations for termites and Vicane treatment for bed bugs. There's no pest too tough for Olson's Pest Technicians. If you have pest problems, call 800-KILL-BUGS.
When it comes to advertising, reaching the right market while giving back to the school is just plain right. If you're looking for an effective method that reaches a large fan base at once, then here's your ticket with Live Ticket TV. With over 90 schools in the state of South Dakota, we can help you advertise locally with just your home team or reach the region. Plus, a portion of all sales go directly back to the school. Get a hold of Heath Nimke today and let's get started in building your brand with Live Ticket TV.
Shields All Sports Store is your one stop for everything outdoors, with local experts eager to guide you through the widest selection of brands. Your one stop for exercise gear to get working out or fashions for going out. And your one stop for footwear in your size, your style, yours to take home today. Shields, employee owned, community minded, and like no place you've ever shopped before.
Navigating a mortgage can be scary. So when people tell me I want to buy a house, I start asking questions. I educate, I guide, and I help realize their dream of homeownership. I never want someone to buy a house and then realize they can't afford it. Each customer is unique. I'm here because it's not just about the loan, it's about relationships. My name is Terry Foster. I'm a mortgage banker here at the First National Bank in Sioux Falls, where we value relationships.
Section 16 Cattle Company is located 5 miles south of Canton on Highway 11. They sell both aged and yearling Hereford and Black Angus bulls annually at their production sale the second Saturday in March, and private treaty any time of the year. Their sole focus is producing bulls that will work for the commercial cattleman, backed by a multi-year breeding season guarantee. Learn more at section16cattleco.com or follow them on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Fairway Press Box. Shop Fairway in Harrisburg for all your grocery needs. At Fairway, your family. Welcome back to the Fairway Press Box. Shop Fairway in Harrisburg for all your grocery needs. At Fairway, your family.
We're back in Harrisburg for second half action, semifinal game. Harrisburg leading 2-0 on a pair of goals. Well, I shouldn't say a pair of goals. It is a pair of goals. Goal scored by Naya Aware. It was her first or 8th goal of the year. That was the first goal that Harrisburg scored. The second one was Auburn Barrett on an Olympico off a corner. That was her 6th goal of the year.
Both of those balls were placed in a place where there's really nothing you can do, and they were just perfectly placed balls. But that's where we're at.
Halftime. You're Mark Anderson. What do you tell the team?
I get to be Mark Anderson, so you're going to be
Haley Fisher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm Mark Anderson, I've got to tell the girls to keep their heads up, to stay in the game. The game can change very, very quickly, but they're going to have to do something a little bit different, maybe to push the pace a little bit. I would like to see them pressure a little bit more. I would like to see them carry the ball in space when they have it, instead of just turning and kicking it without really having a significant purpose. But I think that's it. I think it's just do more of what you're doing, but they've got to be able to put more shots on goal. I don't even recall if there was a significant shot on goal in that half. So you go ahead with Haley.
Yeah, I don't know if there was an official shot on goal. There was that one centering pass that
the header,
caught that. Yeah, the header on the backside. You know, if I'm Haley, I don't know. I think you keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
The change from last week to this week is it's night and day. And I think you just tell the girls to continue to put pressure on T. You can't let your guard down, because T is a good team.
Right.
And if you do, they're going to have chances. And a 2-goal lead in soccer is a horrible lead to have.
Yeah, it's not.
You really need to get to 3. And I think if I'm Haley, go out there, step on their throats. The next goal that is scored in this game is going to go a long ways towards telling how the game is going to end up.
100%
and if that's
agree.
Harrisburg coming out fairly quickly, or even later, assuming that Harrisburg controls the play of the game, it's a dagger.
Yeah, I agree. You've already seen T playing a little bit faster and trying to get the ball up the field and taking their time a little bit more. There's a point right there where she took her time a little bit and found some feet. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. The next goal that's scored is going to really help determine the outcome of the game. And it's just more of the same for Harrisburg. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's getting a little bit colder and still no wind, which is fantastic. But don't kid yourself. I think it's in the mid to low 40s right now.
You know, we've really been lucky this fall with soccer weather.
Yeah.
I mean, this is as cold of a game as we've had. Even Saturday in the afternoon, it was a little cooler, but not a lot of wind. We've been through many games where the wind is howling,
right?
Be it warm or cold. So I'll take this.
T came back with all their starters from the first half, and I can't really tell on the Harrisburg side.
Harrisburg did as well.
Yeah, that was a great step by Lily Hirsch. And again, I'm just very, very impressed with her game. She just seems to be everywhere. And there she is again with a nice header.
It also looks like Mark brought him out in the same formation that he started the game with.
That was a little physical.
Do they run, a lot of times you'll see a team that is down, especially in a playoff situation where you know that your season's over if you don't come back and score. Does Harrisburg run, does T run many other formations, or is Mark pretty much stick with this?
He's been basically a 4-3-3 coach, and he's had a lot of success over the years. Obviously in A, he's the only coach that T has ever had. And today, if they wind up not making a comeback, it's going to wind up being his last game. So that's really going to be a sad one for me after the game. If that's the case, Mark's a great coach and had done a ton for more girls than I can count in T, and was a great coach for my daughter when she played for him for 5 years. But he's always been a 4-3-3 coach. He kind of dabbled a little bit earlier in the year, playing a 3-5-2 just to try to see what they could do, and the girls just didn't really embrace it and make it work. So they kind of went back to the 4-3-3, and when they did, that's when they really started kind of putting things together and winning a lot of games. That's a great ball.
Yeah, snuck through there to Naya.
Another
left
great
foot, tried to
ball.
cross that to Lily Hirsch and didn't quite get there in time. The idea was there, though. It was a great play.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been a little bit more back and forth this time instead of it being more down on T's end.
And you're right. I'm just going to tag along on your comments about Mark. I've known Mark a long time as well, and there's a great guy. I mean, not only has been a good coach, but he's a great person and has really had a strong impact on a lot of girls with that T soccer program. And
he and his
just
wife
soccer
Sherry,
in South Dakota is going to be missing a great guy.
Yeah, and I think that, he and his wife Sherry, that's a tough ball there again. Wow. But he and his wife Sherry have done so much for so many girls, and it's really become kind of a family. And for me, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a better guy. He's like a brother to me, and I just love him. But if he's not a state of South Dakota Hall of Fame coach, I guess I don't know what that looks like. When you average probably somewhere around 10 plus wins a season for as long as he has, with the number of state championships that he has and the number of state runner-ups that he has, and again, being the only coach and probably the most successful coach in T area high school history, regardless of sport. To me, like I said, that's the resume of a.
Do you know? And I would guess, knowing Mark probably doesn't even know.
No, he doesn't. Yeah,
do
he
you,
doesn't.
Do you have
think
any
like that.
idea what his coaching record?
I really don't. But I know he's won well over 100 games. I think he won his 100th game earlier in the season, and so he's probably somewhere around that 105, 106.
And how long have they had a soccer program in T?
I believe it's right around that 10-year mark.
10 years.
Yeah.
So that is, when you're playing 12 to 14 game seasons, probably, plus whatever playoffs. And I know single A playoffs are fewer games because there's fewer teams. So, maybe somewhere between 12 and 15 games a year. So to win in the neighborhood of 100 games in 10 years is a heck of an accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that there's going to be some potential tears when he hangs them up, and I know I'll probably be one of them that's crying. But he, like I said, he's just a great guy, and we wish him nothing but the best in his retirement from coaching. He'll still probably be around, I'm sure, and be attending games, which I'm going to look forward to sitting on the sidelines with him. And it'll be interesting to see. There's a little miscommunication there. It'll be interesting to see who T winds up finding. That's a dangerous pass. Oh, dangerous. Thought there might have been a foul in there, but apparently not. That's going to be a foul. That one's going to be easy.
Well, and that's a ball that Auburn Barrett, coming in and trying to catch the play, probably would have been better served as getting it back to a defender rather than trying to carry it back towards her own goal, and she's not really feeling what's behind her.
Right.
Especially that close. You're moving in on the box. Get rid of the ball. Let one of your defenders get it out of there. Yeah,
and that's why I'd like to see that I can't hear what the keeper is saying if she's saying anything. She's obviously had an amazing season, but the communication, that's where the communication comes in very, very handy.
Yeah, Reagan is, and really in Harrisburg, they're blessed with, as looks like we have an injury, kind of looks like a bloody nose. That's Addie Budig coming out.
Yeah, that looks like it.
And it looks like Saren Nazer is going to be coming in for her. So hopefully, last year, I think I mentioned Addie missing some time last year. She had a similar injury, broke her nose, and ended up wearing one of those clear masks for a number of games. So
That's a
I
dangerous
hope
ball.
Addie's okay. And of course, anytime you get
defense.
hit in the nose, whether it's somebody else's head or the ball, it's just not a fun place to get hit.
No, and it's in. Oh, there's a really good ball. Elena Otten, we call her Lou. That's the patented Lou move and the cross, and it's in. Oh, could not get a good shot on. I believe that was Sage Hoffman.
Thank you.
I always take care of everybody.
Little disjointed there defensively by Harrisburg. Probably the first time all game we've seen them have a little bit of trouble clearing a ball.
Well, I kind of attribute T for that a little bit too, for picking it up a little bit and maybe taking some more chances and trying to be a little more aggressive on the offensive side. And it's a good ball. Yeah, there's just no room to work for T in the box. That's there's Taylor again doing what Taylor does. Yeah, that's just really solid defense. There's just nothing you can really do.
That was a nice play by Bryn Scogan to get that ball away from Chloe. Their club teammates have been for a number of years. So a lot of familiar faces out here for both of these teams as well.
I would be interested if the girls would actually talk openly and honestly if they like or dislike playing against their club teammates at the high school level. That would be an interesting conversation.
I know my daughter enjoys it.
Well,
I think we've usually been winning. But some of her best friends are also soccer players, and it's been fun. Some of them have moved on to college now. And I know she misses competing with and against some of them, your daughter included, although they'll be reunited next year. But I think for the most part, I think they enjoy it. I think there's that familiarity. You also kind of know how those players play.
Right.
And of course, whether it's T or Harrisburg, playing any of these Sioux Falls or local call it metro schools, you're going to have it almost every week.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And like I said, it was just always a curiosity thing for me. And I know that there's always that friendly rivalry between, Tempo and Dakota Alliance. So I know how that's going to go over. But I think between girls that are from the same club playing against each other, I just was always kind of curious about that. But Taylor's just a competitor. She doesn't care. She'd step on your mom's neck to win a game. So that doesn't really surprise me that she enjoys it. A little bit too much clearing of the ball for me, and I would like to see them do a little bit more possessing of the ball, meaning T, just kind of kicking the ball out and just kind of getting it out of there rather than trying to possess it. That's a good step by Sage, and then we just have another kick out of bounds. But I'd like to see them try to possess the ball a little bit more. I know they're down kind of in there scoring third, but you got to maintain possession if you're going to score, and we're 30 minutes left in the game and down 2. That's going to be a tough one. That's a good clear by Kate. Kate's a tough kid, and she's also a Dask player as well.
So far this half, fairly even.
Yeah, for sure.
T spent that time down in Harrisburg's end, and now Harrisburg had kind of set up camp there for a little bit on the other end of the field. Now kind of back in the middle, but they're still excited. They still got a chance. They know that if they score that next goal, this is a whole different game.
Right.
And if they can keep Harrisburg from scoring, the longer they can do that, obviously it kind of goes without saying, the longer they can do that, they've still got a chance. 2 subs coming in for Harrisburg: Haley Rutten, number 35, and number 12, Taylor Syverson.
Yeah, that's another one of those that's just kind of cleared out and kind of hoping that somebody in the same jersey gets on it. That's a dangerous ball.
Naya's got some speed. She ended
Naya's
up coming from about 2 steps behind to almost catch her.
Yeah, she's a tough kid too.
And wins the possession at least on that play as T kicks it out of bounds.
Man, she's got a little bit of an ornery streak too. She plays hard. I love how she plays, and she's quite the competitor. She's second on the team in goals, with 7 for the year. And according to what I'm looking at, she led the team in assists. So that's pretty impressive to be the second leading goal scorer with now 8 and also 8 assists on the season. That's a heck of a year, especially when you have so many kids on your team here at Harrisburg that score goals. Most teams don't get that kind of.
It's been spread around
for sure,
quite a bit this year, and I don't have the number. I do have the numbers, but I don't have them on me. How many goals Harrisburg lost from last year? I mean, between two players, between Haley Christensen and Jaylee Hofer, we lost in the neighborhood of probably 50
at least,
just between the two of them. Yeah. So, not to mention Elsie Odney and among others. So,
well, I think that for me, just watching high school soccer for years and years, I think that class that graduated last year was probably the most talent of any class that this state's ever seen. And when that kind of talent leaves, there's got to be a lot of people step up. But I think scoring in general in the state is way down. I think if I remember right, Harrisburg was trying to score 100 goals last year or something crazy. And I think they got fairly close.
We made it to 98.
Yeah, when you score 98 goals but you lost a game, and now here you've got a group of girls that have scored, 55 goals or 57 goals.
57 now.
Yeah, and haven't lost. So it's all kind of relative, and I would guess that the team last year gave up more than 2 goals all season, I believe as well. So
6.
Yeah,
actually there was 6. 3 of them in the first game.
So yeah, that's a tough comparison. I don't know how you do make that comparison, but they're just both supremely talented teams. Now we got a free kick from Chloe Wilson from about almost 47 yards out. That's going to get into the box, and Taylor's waiting for it. I'd like to see somebody from team step up there and try to get on the end of that and try to make something happen.
Yeah, little standing around there by the white jerseys, just waiting for somebody to
do something,
touch that one.
Yeah. It's got to be tough, though. I mean, these girls have played hard all year, both sides, but it just seems like, Harrisburg is always kind of been the Goliath, and the state really hasn't seen a David yet. So it's one of those things where it's got to be tough being out there. You're working hard, you're tired, you're cold, you're getting knocked around a little bit, and you're losing. I'm proud of the girls for continuing to fight and keep their heads about them and stuff. The one thing I'm very, very happy and very impressed with is this game has not gotten chippy at all. There hasn't been any kind of fouls or any kind of physicality that's not outside of just the normal run of play in the game. So I'm really happy to see that, because I know that can happen with some of the teams in the state, that when they start getting beat, they start getting a little chippy. That's a good step by Kaya, just a little bit late.
And some of that, Chris, is, with the soccer we've watched and being from, I'll say, the metro area where you've got really good club soccer, some of that comes from that these kids have grown up in clubs, and their base in the game is that technical base growing up when they're young.
Right.
The physical part comes later after you master that technical base. And
I think,
when you get into high school, you do around the state, you have a lot of kids that not bad soccer players. They haven't had that technical base. They haven't played soccer since, at a club level for years and years. And so they're out there, they're athletic kids, they're fast kids, but they're playing a little different brand of soccer. And that's what we were referencing earlier, the difference between club soccer
a really good ball
and high school soccer.
Yeah, and I think that, in talking with former coach Eric Christensen at halftime, he did make a pretty good point in regards to, we talk about club players making the high school game better, but when you see some of these young girls out here like a Kate Giles who just got that ball out, being a sophomore, playing with a lot of seniors and playing with girls older than them, the high school game has done some done some things for the girls for the club level too, getting them used to a little bit more physical game, like you mentioned, and how do you deal with that? But yet there's still a lot of speed and a lot of skill, in the game. But a lot of these girls, when they're younger, they don't see this kind of size and speed combination and the physicality. And so I think that, I appreciate Eric sharing his thoughts on that too. But the high school game has helped some of these girls, blossom in club as well. So I think that that was a very, very good point by him at halftime. You've got Sydney coming back into the game, number 4, Sydney Stoliker. Looks like she's replacing Kaya Leekander.
Yeah, and Lily Kunzelman's coming back in for Harrisburg here momentarily. Update from West River. There's about 15 minutes left in that one. Stevens still ahead 1-0.
Yeah,
so another defensive battle.
Yeah, that one. I thought Aberdeen Central could give them a fight, and it looks like they have.
Aberdeen was for those of you that don't follow it maybe as closely, there's 18 teams in AA, 16 of them make the tournament, kind of like football, basketball. Most of the class, most of the members of that class in AA make it. Aberdeen was the 14th seed,
right,
this year, and went out, came up with 2 upsets, one over Pier.
Went to Pier in the first round.
Third-seeded Pier and won, and then in the second round, came down here,
went to Roosevelt.
Roosevelt, yeah, came here into Sioux Falls and beat Roosevelt, which really surprised me. But Aberdeen, they're well coached.
Yeah, they are. He's been doing it for a long time, and they've always had a lot of talent there from their club program and stuff as well. But coach has been doing it for a long time in Aberdeen, and he's gonna have those girls ready. They play a completely different. Seems like they play a completely different game in the playoffs than they do in the regular season. But a 1-0 game there, that's a dangerous ball. It was a really good ball by Kendra Nielsen.
And Abby Dieterman did a really good job there of filling that backside and being there for that ball for Harrisburg and getting it cleared out. As we continue to watch this, as it looks like there's maybe a foul on Harrisburg here. I don't think Coach Fisher is necessarily thrilled with that call. I kind of missed it.
I didn't see it either.
But Harrisburg seemed, I've been watching them all year and a little bit lately of kind of that, we're ahead 2-0, and it's hard. You get ahead 2-0. It seemed to come relatively easy. Not to take anything away from T, but they got up 2-0 in the first half, and now it's kind of that. It's hard when you get a lead to not.
Yeah, take your foot off the gas.
To continue to play to win.
Yep, agreed.
And then just start playing not to lose. And I feel like Harrisburg is kind of, to an extent, kind of like.
That's a good play by Kate Giles.
We're going to take some calculated chances, but we're just going to make sure they don't score.
Yeah, I think, and again, I don't know if that's coached or not. Killer instinct is something that, like I mentioned early in the game, when it got to be 1-0, it's kind of human nature to kind of maybe take it a little bit easy. And, I think that's where some of the leadership from, people like Taylor, or when Tierney was playing, that's where some of that stuff came from, is just that let's not quit. Let's keep going. We haven't won yet. The game's not over, all that kind of stuff. But that's one of the dangers of being a good team. And it might have been something that kind of maybe kind of came up and nearly bit you, I should say, against O'Gorman. In the previous game.
For sure. And I think that kind of goes back to that lack of experience in these big pressure moments. And you kind of freeze up. And so now you get, for some of these younger kids, that killer instinct comes from doing it and learning how to win. I mean, if you watch sports a lot, the teams that are the best teams, generally the ones that are good for a while, are the teams that have players that just know how to win.
Right.
They know how to figure it out. They know that you just don't quit. You keep going. You give up a goal. You keep coming at them because you know your time is going to come.
Right.
And when you have that inexperience, girls that haven't, although talented, maybe haven't played at this level as much, then you get up like this, and that kind of generally will lead to that. Well, okay, we're ahead 2-0,
right?
Rather than, well, let's get ahead 5-0. Let's just bury them.
Well, I think that's something that also can be. It can be coached, I guess, is what I was going to say. That, before Eric Christensen took over here a few years ago, Harrisburg soccer was not that good, and they always had good players. They always had good athletes, and I think he just instilled kind of that mentality of, and maybe it's a tough love or a tougher way of coaching, but I think that he just always expected you to show up and play and be the best you could be every day, and he got more out of some of those girls than that they even knew that they had in them. And I think that that's something that, when you create a program and a culture like that, the whole row in the boat thing that I love, it gets everybody on the same page, and you don't have. That's a good turn by Sydney, but you don't have the outliers where you have one or two people that are fighting for the same thing. You have everybody fighting for the same thing, and everybody wants to to beat everyone and be the best that they can be. And I think that again, that goes back to the culture that was instilled here. And I think that when Eric decided to hang it up, that's a good shot. That's just not enough on it. But I think when Eric decided to hang it up, I don't think you could have picked a better person to take over this team than Haley Fisher. And I was going to ask you about that since you have a daughter on the team. I love Haley. I think she's phenomenal. Was an amazing player, but I think that she's, a great coach and just a better person. But I was just kind of curious from your point, what do the girls think? You've got a daughter on the team, and I was just always kind of curious as to, what the girls think, because to me, it seems like, she just kind of wants, they would run through a brick wall for her.
Right. Yeah. And Taylor's really enjoyed it. She enjoyed playing for Eric as well. And they're different. Haley is,
oh, for sure.
Haley's her own coach.
For sure.
There's a different vibe coming for her. She has continued the row the boat theme in her own way. Maybe not as pronounced as Eric did the last few years, but Haley has done that. I think it's just it's different. You also have a young female that just came out of playing college soccer herself, a very successful career at SDSU. And so it's just different. It's different. And I think you can be good both ways. There's a lot of good things that come out of both sides of that.
Yeah. I wasn't going to ask you to compare the two
no,
coaches. Whether or not she does, because it just seems like, again, if you don't like Haley, there might be something wrong with you. But again, that's more for me, more of a personality thing. But if she's that way coaching too, I just feel like that's what I would expect from her. I was going to say that's going to be a foul there.
That is a call that you can disagree with me if you want here, Chris. This isn't a Harrisburg stump, but it did look like Auburn got the ball first. It's crossing into her when she's not. She's coming in from the side when she's not. It's different if she's running along her. That might not be a call that you see as much in college soccer as you will here in high school.
Well, and I understand where you're coming from on it, and I think that the challenge is that, to me, officiating these games is an impossible, thankless job. I know they get paid, so I'm not going to say that they don't get anything out of it, but it's so hard.
They're not making as much as you and
I was saying
they're
not getting rich doing it. That's for sure. But it's one of those deals for me though that it's such a subjective thing, and they're looking at so many different things.
Yeah.
A lot of times we've seen calls, maybe like that one, where they didn't see something, but they saw the result.
Yeah.
Somebody was on the floor or on the ground, and then there was two people that she got sandwiched in between a couple of people, and somebody was on the turf that had the ball, and then call a foul. I mean, that's something that I'm okay with, because I'm all for protecting these girls and stuff and keeping them safe and healthy and all that kind of stuff, and that could easily be a foul too, and it is. So
the last thing you want is injuries.
Oh, 100%. That stuff, the injuries that I've seen over the past few years have just absolutely been heartbreaking, and seeing these girls, in crutches and knee braces and all this other stuff is crazy. And you think about how much they sacrifice and how hard they work, just for a high school sport that they may not ever. That's a great ball.
Just a little off frame.
Yeah, I think someone could have got on the end of that one. and done a header. But I think that as hard as they work and as much as they do, it's one of those things that I just feel like, that I just applaud them for putting in all that work, and then to be injured and be out for potentially a year. And Harrisburg has a whole list of girls that are injured this year, as does T. But it's just that those injuries just break my heart. Into the game for the Titans is number 20, Elena Mann, who's the leading scorer on the T area JV. She's a very promising young player, very good athlete, very aggressive, and I'm glad to see she's getting some time with about 13 minutes left in the game. That's just good defense, keeping her outside.
T gets one through there, and the crowd gets excited, but not really a good idea, but not really a threat to Harrisburg on that play.
That's a handball, or they're just going to call it T's ball. Looks like Kendra Nielsen will be checking back into the game here shortly. It's another good step and slide tackle by Kate Giles. She's one of my favorite kids too. She's just a great kid and great family, and one of my favorite players. She's a tough competitor, but when she's off the field, she's just a happy, good kid. Getting down to about 12 minutes left. If something's going to have to happen here pretty quick, otherwise it's going to be time to start the bus.
It's a good cross there by Bria Miller, our left defensive back, but nobody on the backside to get it.
Yeah, now we got another corner, which if I don't see
this
Auburn.
one will be Naya.
Yeah, this will be
Naya's
Naya.
got this one.
I think Auburn's in the game, but.
And being a right-footed kicker, the Olympico without wind
is going to be
probably out of the question.
Yeah, if she scores on this one, that one would be crazy. It's a good ball.
T gets ahead on it first.
Great job by Sydney Stoliker getting in there to get that ball out of there. So if the scores stay the same, we would have the Battle of the Unbeatens in Yankton on Saturday. What time can the fans catch that game?
11 o'clock.
The AA girls is at 11?
11 a.m.
Is that the first game of the day?
Yes.
Gotcha.
First game of the day.
Yeah, generally they'll do
the
girls,
boys game will
girls
follow.
and the boys, then they'll clear the stadium, and then everybody has to repay to get back in unless you bought the day pass, and then come back and watch the
Class A girls will be at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Followed by the boys.
I think that's going to be a heck of a game,
title.
too, between the top two schools.
Christian and
in A.
Groton, right?
Yeah,
Sioux Falls Christian and Groton.
And I think they played once this year up in Groton and tied either 1-1 or I think it was 1-1 in Groton.
And Groton back in the state championship for the second year in a row.
Yeah, they lost to T area last year.
The soccer hotbed up there, Groton being kind of a suburb of Aberdeen.
Yeah, the suburb. Yeah, it's the I can't think of his name, but the coach that was there last year that left just did a phenomenal job with those girls and just built that program from nothing. Because back in the day, it would be, oh, geez, we got to drive 3 hours to drive to Groton only to beat them, 10-0, and then we have to drive 3 hours home. But he had those girls. You talk about a coach that can have girls that want to run through a brick wall for you. He got more out of his girls than any coach probably in the history of the game. And they were state runner-ups last year and didn't have a single senior on the team, and then also had 9 of the girls, I believe, that were also on like the number 8 ranked volleyball team. So they would alternate days of practice.
Oh.
They would practice volleyball. That's a dangerous ball.
So just some big
and it
athletes.
Got through. Wow.
Taylor Paez had a nice opportunity there and just couldn't quite
And
get a
it's
foot
not out.
on it.
It's
Was under
back in
pressure,
again.
so it's not
And
like
here it is again. Wow. Yeah, so like I said, they had 9 girls on the 8th ranked in the state volleyball team playing soccer, and they're back this year, and they might have some unfinished business, but they're going to have their hands full with Sioux Falls Christian. According to the infamous Trig Odney, our sports authority, the game in Rapid City is still 1-0 with 4 minutes left in the game. So
they're down to 2 minutes now. I'm looking here. 2:08 left in that semifinal game out in Rapid City.
Yeah, that one's looking like it could wind up being over a lot sooner than this game.
We've got just under 8.5 left here as the last kind of 5 minutes or so has just been a lot of back and forth by both teams, kind of just kicking the ball. I want to say just kicking the ball around, but it seems to be just kind of spending a little more time in the middle of the field.
That's a great
ball. Having a flow and a nice ball there for for Riley Gallagher. See if she can just up over the top. Good opportunity, probably the best opportunity Harrisburg's had this half to extend that lead to 3-0.
Yeah, it just seems like
Bryn
they just
Scogan
keep
just
bringing.
came back in for Harrisburg here. She's in the mid. She will play in the mid. And it looks like Haley is now sitting back in a little bit of more of a having two defensive mids, two holding mids, and just trying to make sure that in these last 7.5 minutes that you've got more people back to keep T from getting any kind of momentum going or any kind of push. As Taylor Severson comes back in as well for Taylor Paez.
Yeah, it's pretty standard tactic at this stage in the game to try to kick the ball out, but I don't see a lot of it. I think that I like the fact that Harrisburg is still continuing to try to possess and continuing to try to attack, and they haven't really stopped playing their game, so to speak, and what we used to call parking the bus to keep people from scoring. It's that the game in Rapid City has gone final, according to.
Yes, it has, and just.
So that's a 1-0 win for Rapid City Stevens.
Yeah, watching the monitor here as the clock ticked out. So 1-0 Stevens. They'll be jumping on the bus probably Friday afternoon sometime to drive out to Yankton for that championship game at 11.
That's going to be
Saturday,
that could be the
against
game.
The
that
winner
could be
from
the
this
game
one.
of the year because they're
Very,
very
last
talented
time
too.
There was two undefeated teams.
I doubt
in
it.
any class.
Yeah, I was going to say
boys
I
or
don't
girls
know.
in
I don't
South
think
Dakota.
I don't think you see that, but I know T has never really made a trip out to Rapid City, and I don't think Harrisburg is really. That's a great shot, and it's in. Oh,
Nope,
just out
just
wide.
outside.
That was a great
But
shot
you're
by
right,
Sage
a great
Hoffman.
shot.
Yeah, just outside the post. That might have changed things a little bit and made this last 6 minutes pretty tight, but it looks like that.
Looks like a little bit of a miscommunication there in that between those defensive mids in the back, or maybe the mids all together, to let that shot get out. I think somebody just kind of got lost in there and gave her an opportunity to get off a clean shot from 25 yards out.
They just keep
Harrisburg
sending the
just
ball
needs a
in, and
big
there just
clear
seems to be
here.
Harrisburg there every single time.
And this is the point in the game where it gets even more important to win balls, especially in either way. You got the lead. You want to make sure you're winning every one of them, not to give the other team any kind of momentum at all or any kind of hope.
Right. I think there's just, to me, it's just a tale of two different games for Harrisburg. As much as Harrisburg was off against O'Gorman, they're just spot on here today. And I mean, they've just been very, very solid. They haven't done anything that's like, wow in terms of manufacturing goals, but they've just been very, very solid and possessed and done the things that they need to do to put points on the board. And I don't like to, see, free kicks and stuff being the main scoring and stuff. But, that, like I said, they just have done a better job of possessing. And I think that the other thing is that they've been first to the ball a lot compared to what they were against O'Gorman. So if they fixed anything, it's probably that.
Yeah. And that, you mentioned those two goals, and regardless of how this game ends up, neither of Harrisburg's goals have been in the normal run of play.
Correct.
T has played very good defense, even though Harrisburg has probably spent a lot more time down in their end.
Correct.
Than T, the other way. They've played very well. They've played very good defense. This is Now 2 games in a row that they haven't given up a goal in the normal run of play, having Harrisburg scored on the free kick and then on the corner.
Yeah, as the time is ticking down here, there's going to have to be a little bit more of a sense of urgency. And
those are moral victories too.
Well, there are no moral victories when it's win or go home.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, but and you're right. But it's going to be tough to sell a moral victory to these girls in white. That
for sure,
especially when it's going to be their last high school game. It's a nice move by Budig and a little bit of a trip, and down she goes.
3 minutes left. Still 2-0 Harrisburg. 3 minutes until potentially a third straight trip to the state AA championship.
I would love to see the stats on this game because it just seems like it's been a very, very evenly played game, and I'm sure that the number of shots on goal for Harrisburg is outnumbered that of T, but I don't think it's going to be like astoundingly different like it was. I just think it's going to be closer than one might think.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, technically that last shot by T would not be a shot on goal. It's a shot, but it was not on frame.
Right. I would even just like to see the shots.
But they have. I think the shots total shots on goal. I think but even what the point was going to make is Harrisburg hasn't had a lot of shots on goal.
Correct.
They've had more shots.
Right.
But I think that number, the shots on goal number, is probably a lot closer than the actual shot number. But neither one of them is that far away.
No, I agree. And that's going to be an easy one. Unfortunately, Lou has taken her share of those shots all season long, and just to applauding her for getting up every single time. She's been taken down hard, even harder than that, at least a dozen times this year. And so I just really applaud her for getting right back up and being ready to go. Sage is kind of dangerous with these. This is kind of one of her superpowers, is scoring on some of these. Well, not on that one. A little over the top, but it's one of those deals where, just trying to get anything done in the last 90 seconds.
Yes, the clock kind of keeps ticking on T's season.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a sad one for me. I probably have to avoid the sideline because I really don't feel like crying when it's this cold out, hugging Coach Mark Anderson.
Your tears won't freeze yet.
Yeah, well, it's going to feel like they're freezing, but it's Coach Anderson's going to be Coach Anderson. That's a good shot. Coach Anderson's last game, like I said, he's meant more to me than probably about any of coaches that my daughter's had outside of maybe a couple of her club coaches, but he's just been phenomenal and been a great guy and a great coach for a lot of years. And under a minute, and the crowd is kind of recognizing that this one's probably about over. Start the bus.
There's no students here to chant. Well, there is quite a few students down there. I haven't heard them chanting that yet.
No,
that's maybe more our era.
I was going to say, the
start the bus chants.
When my era didn't have soccer, there was no such thing.
You didn't even have buses.
It hadn't even been invented yet. And we had wagons. Horse and buggy.
Nice move by Chloe.
We should probably do a quick shout out to the OG, Matt Nelson. He's given me a bad time for not even being invited to this affair. That's your game.
Matt is our Matt's our resident club live stream guy. So.
Yeah, Matt's so good though. He was even I had my sister ask if Matt was married. So he does such a good job. She's married and didn't really care that she wanted to know if he was married.
Oh boy. Well, the final. That's a final. Final from Harrisburg, 2-0. A great fight by T. And Harrisburg moves on to the championship game at 11 o'clock again on Saturday down in Yankton. That game will be found on South Dakota Public Broadcasting.
You won't get us.
No. Maybe they don't
That's
want
probably
us
a good
now.
thing.
I don't know.
That might be a good thing. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
Yes.
I love doing it. We might have to do this again next year. Who knows?
Never know.
Get the band back together.
Yes.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.